Is there such thing as too managed ground when it comes to different parts of the country? I talked with Tyler Tisue, who is in the Mecca of Iowa, and what he's seen over the years of areas that are really highly managed has actually had some level of diminishing returns. So although you and I are not going to be shopping to buy ground in the Mecca of Iowa, it's still a really interesting conversation. Hope you guys enjoy it. If you do, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. We have new videos here every single Thursday and Saturday. So here we go. Obviously, some areas produce giant deer and there's the genetic sides of things, but is there any examples where you do business in Southeast Iowa where like one pocket is top tier, one's like okay, and do the prices reflect that?
What's funny is that so I and in all this time period I've done this, I've watched all of these areas, and there's certain areas that I know that have really really good genetics, and there's areas that that just have really good deer altogether, but everything cycles. And what also started to happen too is, as a lot of these farms that had really really good deer, maybe they were killing 200 inches off the thing, and out of 5 years they killed two or three 200-inch deer off the thing. But what started to happen too was a lot of these guys, they came in, they buy these farms, and I mean I know what they do, but they just make them sanctuaries. They're not really managing them probably like they were before. They weren't shooting cold bucks, they weren't shooting any does, they weren't doing that type of stuff, and all of a sudden they're like, I don't have a deer over 170 inches. And so I know a lot of those guys that are out there, and I have this constant conversation with, especially with so many people that, that I sell ground to, and that are clients of mine, former clients of mine. I talk to so many people throughout the entire season, about management perspective. And it's like, you know what, if you're just going to if you're going to let all these bully 8-pointers, grow up and be king of the ring over there, and you're not going to take care of them, you're probably going to get just that.
Yeah.
You gotta get rid of those. And so I'm a huge proponent of managing farms, not just putting in food plots and letting the population get out of control. And
Sure.
that so I've seen areas, down in Southeast Iowa, where and I'll name one in particular, Bill Winke's, farm. Bill had some incredible deer for years and years and years. And not that he wasn't, he was obviously killing does, but that entire area over there just went downhill because there was such a huge population of deer. None of these cull bucks, seemed to be getting killed. There was a 600-acre farm that was over there here just as of last year, and it had giants on it for years and years and years. And actually, one of our agents at our company went and put a trail camera over there, and they couldn't find on 6 corn piles. They couldn't find a deer over 150 inches on this
Wow.
600-acre farm in Southeast Iowa. Could it come back? Absolutely. That's the thing is, and a farm I have right now is, when I got it, it was pure junk. And I'm slowly building that up.
So when you say junk, like habitat, deer population, quality of deer, all the above?
So for instance, the farm I bought, was outfitted, and, before I bought it, and I'd say probably anything with 9 points was, somewhat mature, 3 years old and up was getting killed, but the genetics were there, you could see that in them. And so then I just had on this farm, all these just 120-inch, 5, 6, 7-year-old deer, that are running around the farm, that isn't exactly what you want to be, mature on your farm. And really those were the breeders, doing the most of it. And, you could just you could see that's what had happened to this thing for a really long time, and so on my farm, I went in there and for the last couple of years, I've been bringing friends and family, and we've been absolutely
Mowing
pounding
them down. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, if there's a deer, my philosophy has always been, if you've got 10 3-year-olds and 5 of them are 8-pointers that, aren't 110 inches, 120 inches, and I've got 5 10-pointers, that plus, that have more points than that, I'm going to probably focus on those 3-year-old 8-pointers right there and try to keep those, those 10-pointers around. And
Sure.
same thing, if the age class goes up, my whole entire philosophy is if they had the potential to reach, 160, 170, I'm going to keep them around. Otherwise, I'm going to let friends and family go take them out
Mhm.
and let them enjoy it.
Yeah. So I guess what this could really boil down to is a quote unquote management area, like managed area, could actually be one of the limiting factors based off what you're saying. Like if no one's taking the effort to, have that right balance, which is kind of crazy to think. Cause I just think even Pike County, Illinois, it used to be the Mecca. Now nothing good comes out of that county. I mean, there's some nice deer, but it's not the best part of the state anymore, in my opinion.
Exactly. I mean, it's not it's not deer control, it's people control. And that's really what it comes down to is first off, are you letting the right deer, get past 4, and especially if you're looking in some of these really high end managed areas. 170-inch deer in Iowa at 4 years old isn't abnormal. They can definitely get there, but in a lot of these areas there, they see 170-inch deer, he's getting popped. You get into these really, high end areas, and you know what, they're getting past it, then, and they're going to be 185, 190 the next year at 5, and then they may even make a decision to let them go to 6.
Hmm.
And so, which, some of the farms I've been part of, we used to do that, and so I've seen all this, this type of stuff happen. Yeah, I'm just, it is a limiting factor for a lot of these farms and these guys who just, this happens where guys come in from out of state, and they just buy them. They let the farms, go the way they are, and they probably, it's not that they can't have big deer. It's just that overall, as a general rule, I mean, if we're playing money ball for deer, if you're going in and you're getting rid of these mature, deer that aren't as good genetically and aren't going to run out your really good genetic bucks, have a healthy population of deer on your farm that can handle the habitat and the food. If you can do those factors, you're going to win in the long term. If you don't do those things, it's going to have a slow drain on the farm. And when these farms have been managed that way for 20 years and they just kind of let the same thing happen, well, you're going to get what you get. And you're going to get a lot of, lesser bucks, that aren't going to reach, that Boone and Crockett, class, deer, because that's the stuff that's been breeding around there, because you've been killing the 4-year-old 170s, that never had a chance to go out there and breed more does,
Mhm.
and then you let all the 8-pointers do all that for the rest of their lives.